pitch black, the deafening roar of twin T-55 turboshaft engines. Inside the belly of a heavily modified MH-47 Chinook helicopter, bathed in blood-red tactical light, sit 40 of the most lethal human beings on the planet. This isn't a conventional military force. These are the apex predators of the United States military, a highly specialized Tier 1 Delta Force strike team. Their target is not a traditional battlefield. It is a heavily fortified, deeply concealed IRGC command center hidden along the rugged mountainous coastline of the Strait of Hormuz. For months, this exact bunker has been the hidden nerve center orchestrating the devastating mine attacks and maritime sabotage crippling global shipping. Diplomacy has officially failed. Now the United States has authorized a high-risk, deep penetration decapitation raid. The objective is brutal and clear. Infiltrate unseen. Cut the head off the snake, destroy the command infrastructure, and vanish before the Iranian military even knows they are under attack. The shadow war is about to turn violent. Before we breach the perimeter and break down exactly how these silent warriors execute the impossible, I need you to do me a massive favor. We are building an exclusive community dedicated to uncovering these classified, high-stakes tactical operations. If you respect the elite forces who operate in the shadows, hit that like button and subscribe right now. Your support is the only thing that allows this new channel to keep bringing you these deep-dive military breakdowns. Join the unit. Now, let's step into the dark. The execution of a deep strike mission behind enemy lines does not begin in the air. It begins hours earlier in the sterile, high-tension environment of a classified forward operating base. Operating deep inside hostile Iranian territory requires a level of precision that borders on the impossible. The 40 Delta operators moved through the equipment bay with a cold, quiet intensity. There were no loud motivational speeches. There was no chest pounding, just the absolute focus of professionals preparing for the abyss. Each operator meticulously packed his own specialized loadout. They customized their suppressed HK-416 carbines and specialized close-quarters weapons, ensuring every optic was flawlessly zeroed for night engagements. They mounted state-of-the-art panoramic night vision goggles, 4-tube systems that turn pitch-black darkness into a clear, green-tinted daylight. Every piece of gear was strapped brutally tight to eliminate even the slightest rattle. Silence was their primary armor. Breachers prepared lightweight, highly concentrated shaped charges designed to blow through reinforced steel doors without bringing the entire bunker down. Medics double-checked trauma kits. Communication specialists calibrated encrypted burst transmission radios to maintain contact with the USS Abraham Lincoln Carrier strike group floating miles away. Platoon leaders huddled around 3D holographic terrain maps, memorizing the exact layout of the IRGC command center, the blind spots in the enemy camera network, and the primary and secondary exfiltration routes. Every operator knew exactly who would neutralize the perimeter guards, who would breach the main server room, and who would plant the explosives. No detail was left to chance. They were going in light, fast, and completely alone. The mission clock ticked down to 0. The 40 operators formed into tight, silent columns and boarded the waiting helicopters from the elite 161st Special Operations Aviation Regiment, the legendary Night Stalkers. The massive rotors spun up, kicking a violent storm of dust across the tarmac as the MH-47 Chinooks and accompanying MH-60 Blackhawks lifted into the black sky. Operating under strict radio silence, the formation aggressively banked toward the Iranian coastline. To avoid the sophisticated Iranian air defense networks, the Night Stalker pilots executed a flawless nap-of-the-earth flight profile. The helicopters skimmed mere feet above the dark, choppy waves of the Persian Gulf, flying so low that the sea spray lashed against the windshields. Inside the cabin, the Delta operators sat in absolute silence. Some closed their eyes to conserve adrenaline. Others systematically visualized the bunker layout one last time. The landscape rapidly shifted from open ocean to the sharp, jagged cliffs of the Iranian coast. The helicopters flared, aggressively bleeding off speed, and descended into a remote rocky clearing just 2 miles from the IRGC command center. The landing was whisper quiet. The ramps dropped, and the operators poured out into the hostile darkness like a liquid shadow. They instantly fanned out, their night vision cutting through the gloom, establishing a tight 360-degree security perimeter. The helicopters immediately lifted off, disappearing back over the horizon to wait at a designated loiter point. The operators were now completely isolated deep inside enemy territory. The infiltration was successful. Now, the hunt began. The assault team moved forward through the treacherous terrain with ghost-like precision. They used the deep shadows of the rocky ravines and the sparse desert brush to mask their approach. Every footstep was calculated. Every movement was synchronized. Approaching the outer perimeter of the IRGC compound, the Delta snipers, armed with suppressed thermal-equipped rifles, established high ground overwatch. 2 Iranian perimeter guards were patrolling the western fence line, completely unaware of the lethal force closing in on them. Through the green glow of their night vision, the Delta assaulters confirmed the targets. 2 suppressed shots echoed with a dull thwack. The guards dropped instantly, neutralized before they could even reach for their radios. The breach team moved up, using specialized hydraulic cutters to silently slice through the heavy security fencing. Once inside the compound, the operators stacked up outside the main entrance to the underground command bunker. This was the nerve center. The breachers attached a specialized water-tamped explosive charge to the reinforced steel door. 3, 2, 1. A muted, concussive thud violently forced the door inward. The operators flooded into the bunker in a flash of controlled, devastating violence. IRGC personnel inside were completely blindsided. The Delta operators swept the tight corridors with practiced precision, neutralizing any hostile threats in seconds. When they reached the central server room, the technological heart directing the maritime attacks, the demolition experts went to work. They planted thermite grenades and C4 charges directly onto the communication arrays, intelligence servers, and encrypted hard drives. They weren't just clearing the room, they were erasing the enemy's capability to fight. With the charges set and the high-value intelligence physically secured in their rucksacks, the strike team commander gave the exfiltration signal. They had been on target for less than 14 minutes. As the operators rapidly moved back toward the surface, a series of blinding, catastrophic explosions ripped through the underground bunker. The brain of the Iranian maritime operation had been completely destroyed. By the time the blast echoed across the coastline, the Delta operators were already melting back into the shadows. Distant sirens began to wail, but they were too late. The Americans maintained strict noise discipline, sprinting through the rocky terrain back to the landing zone. The Night Stalker helicopters swooped down from the darkness, their ramps already lowered before the wheels even touched the dirt. The 40 operators surged aboard, weapons still trained outward, securing the perimeter until the absolute last man was safely inside. The aircraft banked violently, ascending rapidly into the night sky, leaving the burning remnants of the IRGC command center far below. The mission was a flawless success. The United States military had proven once again that there is no bunker deep enough and no perimeter secure enough to hide from its most elite Tier 1 operators. The Strait of Hormuz was one step closer to being secured. Not by massive fleets, but by 40 silent professionals who strike in the dark and fade away before the enemy even knows they were there. The next mission is already loading up. Stay locked in.